So what I want to do is give you cornhole builders a little bit of some tips for making boards. Making cornhole boards is not a complicated task, but there's a couple things you can do that will make your life just a little bit simpler. So that's what we want to do in this video, is share with you some tips, some things you can do to make your building a lot easier. The first thing is you need some sort of assembly jig. And what that will do is it'll allow you to make your assembly process faster, repeatable, you'll have less mistakes, and you'll spend less time, more importantly. So this is our frame assembly jig. And what it is it's a piece of, it's a top of 2 foot by 4 foot board that we use for a top. And we've put these little spacers on the board at the right space for the boards that we make. Our frames are going to be inset a little bit, so our lengths are going to be 46. Our widths are going to be 20.5, and we've made this so that once you've cut your frame pieces, drilled your pocket holes in, they slip right into the jig. Then you have your end pieces, just like that. Then you'll have your other frame piece that will slide right into the jig, and everything's held in place. And you can put in all your other pieces. We do a center brace, you can put in the end piece. And then once you get them all put in, you apply glue to the corners, you screw it from the inside, and everything's held in place. Your corners are held in place, everything's held down, and you have a jig that works perfectly. So what I would recommend that you do is build some sort of assembly jig. Now on ours, we've gone one step further, because when you get in the pattern of kind of doing things over and over again, you kind of get in a monotonous routine, and you might skip some steps. So I've written some reminders on my frame jig on certain things to do. This says holes down, 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 down. I've written in like 5 or 6 different places, and what that is so the pocket holes go down on the board, because once this is assembled, the playing surface will go right here. So always assemble it, and I've written some notes to myself to do that. So that's one jig that we use. So another jig we use in our shop when we make our boards is a leg jig. So this is what it looks like. It has a MilesCraft drill block, so I get a nice straight 90-degree drill hole. It's a 1/4 inch, and I've put a couple of screws there to mount the drill block to some scrap that I've measured out. So the way it works is these pieces rest on the frame, this piece rests on the frame, and when you put it on the board, it goes just like that. I have a spacer block which goes right here, and then I take my leg that's been pre-made, I fix it right there, and then I take a clamp and attach it right here. And so by doing the initial measurements, I know that this hole I'm going to drill right here is going to be dead center on the drill leg, or on the cornhole leg, and everything has been measured out. I did put some reminders on here so that when I make sure I have the tip is up and I have everything flush, then I take my 1/4 inch drill bit and drill the hole. Take off the jig itself, use the clamp, then I take my carriage bolt and stick it through the open hole, give it a couple of taps with a mallet, attach a washer, attach the wing nut, take my spacer block and use it on the other side now. And then I can take, I built 2 jigs, so one is for my left hand leg, one is for my right hand leg, so I can just repeat the process. Place the jig on the frame, put the leg right there, take my clamp, clamp it into place, drill it with the drill, and I can have a repeatable, properly spaced leg every time on our board. Okay, so one of the jigs we use when we make our cornhole boards is this hole marking jig. Very simple to make, and all you need to make it is the measurements for where the hole is going to go, a pencil, and the jig. On a cornhole board, your hole for the game is going to go 12 inches in the middle, or directly in the center between the 2 boards, 9 inches down, and be a 6-inch circle. So one method to do that is you can take a tape measure, you can always measure over, you can measure down,
and you can mark it with your pencil, but if you're doing a bunch of repetition work, this can be very tedious. So one of the things that we've made in our shop is a simple jig. So this jig is made up of 1x4 scrap pine, and it features the measurements, it features some alignment boards, and the hole for marking the center. So here's how it works. Once you get your boards made, or your decks made just like this, you line this up with the edge, you line this up with the top edge, you take a pencil, stick it in the mark, take it off. Now you're ready to take your circular hole saw, put it on the mark, and you'll have a 6-inch circle perfectly centered every time. So when you make this, make it one time, measure over from this edge to the center, measure down 9 inches, drill a hole, use a pencil, and you'll be perfect, and you'll have your hole centered every time. So it's just one of the jigs we use in our shop.
Feel free to message us if you have any questions. We hope that some of these tips have been beneficial so that you can basically just make some more money and spend less time in the shop. So we appreciate it. If you have any questions, let us know.